I showed up at my granddaughter's baptism, looking less than presentable through no fault of my own. My son blocked the entrance and shouted, "You're embarrassing me, Dad. Leave." I realized I had paid for everything that day, yet I wasn't valued at all. They saw me as a sponsor, not family. I kept silent and left. Then I made a phone call. That phone call would change everything. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Hit like, subscribe, and comment where you're watching from today. We're curious how far this reaches. Note, this is a fictional story created for meaningful insights. Names and details are imagined, but the lessons carry real value. Let's continue. That phone call triggered events no one expected. I checked my reflection in the rearview mirror. The charcoal suit fit well for a man of 67. My late wife, Elizabeth, used to say I looked distinguished in gray. I glanced at the dashboard, 10:17 a.m. 15 minutes to Holy Trinity Cathedral for my granddaughter, Sophia's baptism. I'd paid $52,000 for this day. Then I saw him, an elderly man collapsed on the sidewalk, belongings scattered around him. People walked past. No one stopped. I pulled over. He wasn't breathing. I started chest compressions, my suit hitting concrete sweat, soaking through my shirt. 30 compressions, 2 breaths. A history book lay near his head, The Guns of August. After 3 minutes, he gasped. His eyes opened. Sirens approached. The paramedic recognized him. Mr. Mitchell, Robert Mitchell. He used to teach at Myers Park High. The name stirred something. Elizabeth had mentioned a history teacher there years ago. By the time I finished with the paramedics, my suit was ruined. My watch read 10:52. I grabbed work clothes from my truck, white shirt, khaki pants, steel-toed boots, and changed in a gas station bathroom. I reached Holy Trinity at 11:08. 200 guests filled the pews. My work boots echoed on marble as I walked down the aisle. Heads turned. Nathan stood near the altar in a black Armani suit, holding Sophia. Nicole beside him in an elegant dress. Nathan's face flushed when he saw me. He handed Sophia to Nicole and blocked my path. "What are you doing?" His voice was low sharp. "I'm here for my granddaughter's baptism." "Dressed like that?" He stared at my boots. "You're embarrassing us. Those boots don't belong here." "I stopped to help someone," I said. "A man who wasn't breathing. I saved his life. That's why I'm late. You could have called." "There wasn't time." His jaw tightened. "This is Sophia's day, her one baptism, and you show up looking like you came from a job site." "I paid $52,000 for this day," I said quietly. "I think that earns me a seat." "We'll discuss reimbursement later." His tone was ice. "Right now you need to leave." I looked past him to Sophia, peaceful in Nicole's arms. The stained glass cast colored light across her white gown. I thought of Elizabeth, how she would have held Sophia, how she'd once told me, "Family isn't about appearances, Richard. It's about showing up when it matters." I'd shown up, and I was being turned away. "I'll go," I said. I walked back down that aisle, every eye on me, and drove home. 12 minutes later, I sat in my living room, the house Elizabeth and I had built 40 years ago, and stared at her empty chair. The silence pressed in. No grandchild's laughter, no son's voice, just the old clock ticking on the mantel. Then my phone rang, a number I didn't recognize. I almost let it go to voicemail, but something made me answer. The voice on the other end would change everything. 2 hours later, I sat at my desk in the home office Elizabeth and I had designed together. The afternoon light slanted through the window, falling across stacks of financial documents I'd pulled from the filing cabinet. My laptop screen glowed with the Ironwood Builders accounting software. The baptism felt like a distant memory, now replaced by a cold clarity I hadn't felt in years. I picked up the landline and dialed the bank. Sunday afternoon, but our business account had 24-hour service. First Carolina Bank, this is Diane Foster. How may I help you? Diane, this is Richard Brennan. I need to stop payment on check number 4187. $31,000 written to Ashford Events 3 days ago. A pause. Mr. Brennan, that's for the reception tomorrow, isn't it? Are you sure? I'm sure. Cancel it now, please. Yes, sir. Done. Is there anything else? One more thing. I need to freeze all supplementary cards on my accounts. Immediately. Another pause longer this time. All of them. All of them. I heard keyboard clicks. That's 4 cards, Mr. Brennan. The freeze is active. May I ask? Thank you, Diane. That's all. I set the phone down and opened the spreadsheet Linda Morris, my accountant, had prepared last quarter. The numbers told a story I'd been avoiding for months. Nathan's penthouse in Uptown, $6,700 a month. The Audi lease, $1,380 monthly. Nicole's law office rent downtown, $4,200. Every payment traced back to supplementary accounts I'd opened 3 years ago when Nathan asked for temporary help getting established. Temporary had become permanent, and none of it was in Nathan's name. Not the lease, not the car, not even the furniture. I'd co-signed everything because he had no credit, no assets, no foundation of his own. I'd built my son a house of cards, and he'd decided it was a castle. My phone started buzzing. Nathan. I declined the call. It rang again immediately, declined. By the time I'd deleted his access to the backup financial files. Every password, every cloud folder, my screen showed 22 missed calls, spanning the last 3 hours. Finally, I listened to one voicemail. "You're destroying my family." Nathan's voice cracked with rage. "That money was ours. The reception is tomorrow. 200 people. You can't just cancel it. You can't just cut us off like we're nothing. Mom would be ashamed of you." I closed my eyes. Elizabeth's face appeared in my mind, not from her final days, but from a summer evening 20 years ago. Nathan had asked for money to cover a bad investment. I'd said yes immediately. Elizabeth had pulled me aside later. "Sometimes love means saying no," she'd told me. "Otherwise, you're not teaching him to stand. You're teaching him to fall." I'd ignored her then. I wouldn't ignore her now. I opened a text message to Nathan. My fingers hesitated over the keyboard, then typed, "The money was never yours. Everything stops now." I hit send. 3 dots appeared immediately, Nathan typing a response. I turned off the phone before it could come through. The house settled into silence around me. No television, no music, just the faint hum of the refrigerator in the kitchen and the distant sound of a neighbor's dog barking. 40 years Elizabeth and I had lived here. 40 years of Sunday dinners, Christmas mornings, Nathan's childhood echoing through these rooms. Now it was just me sitting in the gathering darkness, staring at financial statements that proved my son had been using me for years. I knew Nathan wouldn't stop. The voicemail made that clear. He'd fight back lawsuit family pressure, whatever leverage he could find. And somewhere behind him I sensed Nicole's careful hand. She was the lawyer after all, the strategist. But I wouldn't stop either. I sat there as the sun set over Charlotte, the office falling into shadow, and felt something I hadn't felt since Elizabeth passed away, absolutely, completely certain of what had to be done. Whatever came next, I was ready. Monday and Tuesday passed in silence. No calls from Nathan, no messages. I spent those 2 days at the Ironwood Builders' Yard keeping busy, while Carl watched me with questions he didn't ask. Wednesday morning, a process server found me in my office. "Richard Brennan, you've been served." The lawsuit was straightforward. Nathan and Nicole were petitioning for conservatorship, claiming I was mentally incompetent to manage my affairs. The filing cited erratic financial decisions and cognitive decline. I called Lawrence Donovan immediately. "They're saying you're incompetent," he said, his 66-year drawl steady. "Standard play for contested estates. The hearing's in 2 weeks, but you'll need a professional evaluation. Can they win? Not if you're as sharp as I know you are." Thursday morning, I sat across from Dr. Christine Morgan near Presbyterian Hospital. 2 hours of memory tests, logic puzzles, questions about current events. I answered everything without hesitation. She closed her notebook. "Mr. Brennan, you're sharper than most people half your age. I'll have my report to your attorney tomorrow. This lawsuit won't hold water." I should have felt relieved. Instead, I felt the first cold touch of real fear. If Nathan couldn't win in court, what would he try next? The answer came Friday afternoon. A voicemail from a number I didn't recognize. I hit play. "Mr. Brennan, my name is Frank Delgado." The voice was calm, almost friendly. "Your son Nathan owes me $213,000. He's missed 3 payments now. You have 48 hours to make this right. If I don't hear from you by Sunday noon, I'll be forced to visit that pretty granddaughter of yours. Sophia, isn't it? The one with the recent baptism." The message ended. I played it again, my hand steady despite the rage building in my chest. Then I saved it, backed it up to 3 locations, and called Carl Martinez. "I need cameras installed around my house. Motion sensors on every entrance. Tonight." "What's going on, boss? Just do it, Carl, please." After I hung up, I sat in the gathering dusk and thought about Elizabeth. March 2017. The call from Charlotte, Mecklenburg Police. A drunk driver ran a red light at Providence and Fairview, hitting her sedan. She was gone before the ambulance arrived. No one stopped to help. No one tried. I'd saved a stranger on Sunday because I couldn't save my wife 8 years ago. Now someone was threatening my granddaughter. I walked to the window and saw Carl's truck pulling into the driveway, equipment in the bed. 48 hours until Sunday noon. Less than 2 days to figure out how to protect Sophia and deal with a loan shark demanding money for debts I never knew existed. Nathan had brought violence to my doorstep, to Sophia's doorstep. The conservatorship lawsuit was a distraction. The real danger was Frank Delgado, and I had one night to come up with a plan. I watched Carl unload camera equipment from his truck, the porch light casting long shadows across the driveway. Somewhere out there, Nathan was hiding. Nicole was calculating their next move, and Frank Delgado was counting down 48 hours. But I wasn't the confused old man they thought I was. Dr. Morgan's evaluation would prove that in court. And for everything else, the threats, the extortion, the attempt to steal my granddaughter's future, I'd find another way. I just needed to figure out what that was before Sunday noon. Carl finished installing the cameras Saturday evening. I tried to sleep, but couldn't. At 3 a.m, I sat in my home office, counting down hours until Sunday noon. That's when I remembered Nathan's old laptop abandoned in my desk drawer 2 years ago. I pulled it out and tried Elizabeth's birthday as the password. It unlocked. His email was still logged in. Buried in the sidebar was a folder labeled Personal Archive. 47 messages between Nathan and Nicole dated August 2024 to January 2025. I opened the first one, August 2024. Nathan to Nicole. Lost $47,000 on betting platforms. Need to borrow $50,000 from Dad before anyone finds out. September 2024. Nicole to Nathan. I looked at your father's financials. Ironwood revenue $13.8 million annually. $2.1 million liquid. House worth $890,000. Why are we waiting for inheritance? October 2024. Nathan to Nicole. That's my father. I'm not doing this. November 2024. Nicole to Nathan. Then we do it my way. Fake medical records, paid doctor testimony. Declare him incompetent. Get conservatorship, transfer assets to LLCs. I've set up MBF Consulting Cascade Holdings. $5 million sitting there while we drown. I stopped breathing. $5 million. They weren't just seeking control, they were planning to liquidate everything I'd built. December 2024. Nathan to Nicole. This is elder abuse, this is fraud. I'm confessing everything. January TAS 20 AS 25. Nicole to Nathan. If you confess, I'm filing for divorce and taking Sophia. I have records of your $213,000 debt to Frank Delgado. 47 logins to gambling sites in 3 months. 3 bankruptcies. Psychiatric waiver from last year. Who gets custody? January 2025. Nathan to Nicole. Fine, we do it your way. But we protect Sophia. Nicole to Nathan. We protect Sophia by securing her future. $5 million secures a lot of future. I lean back. 47 emails spanning 6 months. Nicole had orchestrated everything: the lawsuit, the fake evaluation, the shell companies. Nathan had resisted, then collapsed under the threat of losing his daughter. My son wasn't the mastermind, he was a hostage. I thought of Nathan at 12, the year after we built the addition. He'd stolen $20 from my wallet for video games. Elizabeth found the receipt, sat him down, and made him confess. He cried, not from being caught, but from disappointing her. She held his hand. Honesty is the hardest thing, Nathan, but it's the only thing that matters. Without it, you have nothing. That boy was still there somewhere, buried under debt and Nicole's ambition. I printed all 47 emails. Page after page slid into the tray. Evidence. Legal, documented, undeniable. When the last page printed, I called Lawrence Donovan. Richard. His voice was groggy. It's 6:30 in the morning. I need you at my house. Now. Bring whatever contacts you have with Charlotte Mecklenburg Police. What's going on? I found everything. Every piece of their plan. A pause. I'll be there in 20 minutes. I hung up and walked to the window. The sun was rising over Charlotte, painting the sky orange and gold. Somewhere out there, Nathan was waking up in his penthouse, both of them counting down to Frank Delgado's deadline. They thought they were hunting me. They thought I was the confused old man from their lawsuit paperwork. But I had 47 emails proving conspiracy to commit elder abuse, and I had 12 hours until noon. The battle wasn't over. It was just beginning. Lawrence Donovan's car pulled into my driveway at 7 sharp. He wasn't alone. A woman in a dark blazer stepped out, mid-40s, alert eyes. Richard Brennan. She extended her hand. Detective Karen Hughes Charlotte Mecklenburg. Paddy Lawrence briefed me. I led them to the kitchen table where 47 printed emails sat beside my phone with Frank Delgado's Voicemail. Ready. Detective Hughes spent 15 minutes reviewing the pages, then looked up. This is conspiracy to commit elder abuse, financial exploitation, and fraud. The voicemail is textbook extortion with threats to a minor. We can arrest all of them. What do you need from me? Wear a wire. Meet Frank Delgado. Get him talking on record, confirm the death of threats. Once he incriminates himself, we move in. Is that safe? 6 officers will be nearby. Plain clothes. You'll never be in real danger. I nodded. Let's do it. At 10 o'clock, my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered on speaker, the police recorder running. Time's up, old man. Frank Delgado's voice filled the kitchen. Bring $213,000 in cash to the parking lot off Trade Street near Uptown. Noon. I need more time. You've had 48 hours. You've got 2 more. Noon or I visit Sophia. The line went dead. Detective Hughes was already on her radio. Lawrence sat across from me, pale. You don't have to do this. Yes, I do. By 11:30, I wore a wire under my shirt. Detective Hughes handed me an empty backpack. Make him think there's money. Get him talking. We'll handle the rest. Carl Martinez and 4 Ironwood crew members volunteered to pose as bystanders in nearby trucks, ready to block exits. 30 years of loyalty cashed in today. At 11:45, I pulled into the parking lot. Frank's black Escalade sat near the corner. As I approached, Frank stepped out with 2 younger men, the kind of build that said they weren't there for conversation. Mr. Brennan. Frank smiled without warmth. You bring my money. I held up the backpack. I've got it. Open it. Not until you tell me how Nathan got into this mess. Frank's smile widened. Your boy came to me last June. Needed $80,000 to cover gambling debts. I loaned it at 20% monthly. Reasonable considering his history. By January, he owed $213,000. Nicole even came begging for more time. Nice woman. Worried about her daughter. And if I don't pay, his expression hardened. Then I take what's mine, starting with your family. You threatened my granddaughter. Business is business. So is this. Detective Hughes appeared from behind a van badge raised. Charlotte Mecklenburg police hands in the air. 6 officers materialized from surrounding vehicles. Frank's men froze. Frank stared at me, realization dawning. You set me up. You threatened my granddaughter, I said quietly. What did you expect? They cuffed all 3 Frank and his associates and read them their rights. Frank shouted as they pushed him into a police car, but I'd already turned away. Detective Hughes removed the wire. That recording is solid. Extortion loan sharking threats against a minor. He's looking at 20 years minimum. Lawrence touched my shoulder. One down. I watched the police cars pull away, Frank's face visible through the rear window. One down. But Nathan and Nicole were still out there, and Sunday wasn't over yet. 1 threat down, 2 more to go. If you've made it this far, comment 2 below. I want to see who's still here for the next part. Just so you know, this story includes dramatized details that aren't entirely factual. If you'd rather not continue, no hard feelings. But if you're hooked, the most shocking arrest is still ahead. The drive home took 12 minutes. Detective Hughes followed in her unmarked car and waited inside while I unlocked the door. According to the emails, Nathan planned to show up today. 15 minutes later, I heard an engine. Nathan's silver Audi pulled into my driveway. Detective Hughes stepped back from the window. Right on schedule. Nathan climbed out with a younger man, mid-20s, white dress shirt, carrying a leather briefcase. Too young to be a real doctor. Nathan walked up the driveway, his face pale. Dad, we need to talk. This is Dr. Henderson. He's here to conduct your evaluation. Paul Jennings, that was his real name according to the emails, opened his briefcase and pulled out official-looking documents. Mr. Brennan, we've received reports about cognitive decline. I'm here to perform a court-ordered assessment. I already did an assessment, I said. With Dr. Christine Morgan, I passed. Nathan stepped closer. That one doesn't count. This is the official evaluation. There is no court order, I said. Just the petition you filed. Paul reached into his briefcase again, pulling out a small case with medical equipment inside. Mr. Brennan, this is a mild relaxant to help you stay calm during the evaluation. Put that down. Detective Hughes stepped through the doorway, badge raised. Charlotte Mecklenburg Police. Drop it now. The case clattered to the porch. Nathan stumbled backward. Wait, this is a misunderstanding. No misunderstanding. Detective Hughes moved forward. Nathan Brennan, you're under arrest for conspiracy to commit elder abuse fraud and attempted conservatorship fraud. Paul Jennings, you're under arrest for impersonating a medical professional. 2 patrol cars arrived. Officers secured both men in handcuffs. Paul stammered about a mistake, but no one was listening. Nathan turned to me as they cuffed him, his eyes red. Dad, I'm sorry. I didn't know what else to do. The debt, Frank, I was trying to protect Sophia. By stealing from me? I asked quietly. By bringing a fake doctor to my home. I was desperate. You had choices. You could have asked for help. Instead, you chose this. An officer guided Nathan toward the patrol car. He kept looking back like he expected me to stop them to fix everything the way I always had. Then another car pulled up fast. Nicole's white BMW. She jumped out, Sophia in her arms, 6 months old, wearing the baptism dress. Nicole saw Nathan in handcuffs and froze. Oh, God. Detective Hughes approached. Mrs. Brennan, we have 47 emails documenting your role in this conspiracy. You're the architect. You're under arrest. Nicole's voice broke. She looked at Sophia, then at me. Please, please don't take my daughter. She walked toward me, trembling, and held Sophia out. Take her. Keep her safe. I took my granddaughter into my arms, warm, solid, innocent. She looked at me with Elizabeth's eyes. Nicole backed away, tears streaming. An officer approached with handcuffs. She didn't fight, just kept staring at Sophia as they led her to the second patrol car. I watched Nathan climb into one car, Nicole into another. My son, my daughter-in-law, both under arrest for trying to take everything I'd built. Sophia grabbed my collar and held on. My heart broke, but justice had been served. That evening I sat in my living room with Sophia asleep in my arms. The house was quiet except for the soft sound of her breathing. Detective Hughes and Lawrence Donovan sat across from me, files spread across the coffee table. Nathan's looking at 3 to 5 years, Detective Hughes said. Nicole faces disbarment and 2 to 3 years. Frank Delgado's facing 20 plus for extortion, loan sharking, and threats against a minor. Lawrence pushed a folder toward me. These are the financials. 47 emails documenting the conspiracy. 3 Shell LLCs, MBF Consulting, Cascade Holdings, Pacific Ventures. They'd already moved $127,000 from your accounts. I looked down at Sophia, her tiny fist curled against my shirt. I want to talk to Nicole. Alone. Detective Hughes frowned. Richard, she's Sophia's mother, I said. I need to know if there's anything left worth saving. Monday morning, Nicole arrived at my house wearing an ankle monitor under her jeans. House arrest while awaiting trial. She looked smaller, somehow hollowed out. Linda Morris, my accountant, sat in the corner as witness. I didn't waste time. I'm offering you a deal. You self-report to the Bar Association. Accept a 2-year suspension. Enter therapy. Pay back the $127,000 at $500 a month, 18 months of payments to start. Do all that, and I won't press criminal charges. Nicole's voice was barely a whisper. Why? Because Sophia needs her mother, not a memory of someone in prison. Her eyes filled. I'll do it. All of it. I just want my daughter back. You'll see Sophia twice a week. Supervised. If you rebuild your life, really rebuild it, we'll talk about more. She signed the agreement with shaking hands. Linda Morris notarized it. Nicole left without another word, the ankle monitor beeping softly as she walked to her car. At 2 o'clock, I drove to Mecklenburg Detention Center. They led me to a visitation room with a glass partition. Nathan appeared on the other side a few minutes later, wearing an orange jumpsuit. He looked like he'd aged 10 years. He picked up the phone. I picked up mine. Dad? His voice cracked. I'm so sorry, I ruined everything. You made choices, I said. Now you live with them. The DA's offering 18 months if you plead guilty. Take it. What about Sophia? She'll be safe. With me. He was quiet for a long moment. And Nicole? She's taking responsibility. Slowly. If she follows through, she might see Sophia regularly again. If you behave yourself in here, you'll be out in 9 months with good behavior. 9 months. He closed his eyes. Will you bring Sophia to visit? Maybe, when you've earned it. He nodded, tears sliding down his face. I'll sign whatever you need. The divorce papers, the plea deal, all of it. Good. Before I hung up, I thought of Elizabeth. A conversation we'd had years ago when Nathan was in college caught cheating on an exam. I'd wanted to fix it, to call the dean to make it go away. She'd stopped me. Forgiveness doesn't mean no consequences, she'd said. It means you still love them while they face what they've done. I love my son, but he had to face this. I drove home as the sun set over Charlotte. Sophia was awake when I got there, sitting in Carl's wife's arms. She reached for me the moment she saw me, and I took her holding her close. Nathan would serve 9 months. Nicole would rebuild from nothing. Frank Delgado would spend 2 decades behind bars. And Sophia would grow up knowing her grandfather fought for her when no one else would. The sky darkened over the city, but somewhere in the fading light, I saw a thin thread of hope. Not forgiveness yet, not reconciliation, but maybe in time a chance at something better. 9 months passed like pages turning in a book I couldn't put down. March through May, Nicole's fall. Nicole self-reported to the North Carolina Bar Association. 2-year suspension. She moved into a studio apartment in Noda, $800 a month, one room. Took a paralegal assistant job at $18 an hour. Wednesdays and Sundays she came to see Sophia. 2 hours each visit with me present. She'd sit on the floor playing with blocks, hands sometimes shaking, like she feared Sophia would forget her. In May, after a visit, she stood at my door crying. I miss holding her at night. I didn't offer comfort, just keep going, prove you mean it. June through August, small victories. June brought her first payment $500 on time. She'd started therapy with Dr. Christine Morgan twice weekly. July, her firm raised her rate to $24 an hour. Small progress, but progress. August brought the moment I'd been waiting for. I was at the Ironwood yard with Sophia on my hip, reviewing blueprints. 11 months old now, she pointed at a concrete truck and said her first word, Papa. I recorded it on my phone, her voice, my laugh, Carl cheering. That night I sent the video to Nicole. She called 10 minutes later, crying too hard to speak. September through November, Nathan's transformation. Nathan's letters started in September. Day 287. I joined Gamblers Anonymous. Work in the library, now helping guys get their GEDs. Learning carpentry in the vocational program. Maybe someday I can work for Ironwood. October brought news of his cellmate, a 58-year-old former accountant. Now his sponsor. They met daily. Nathan was learning to budget, to see money as a tool instead of escape. November 28th. I picked him up at Mecklenburg Detention Center. He'd lost 30 pounds, grown a beard, but his eyes were clearer. I'm ready to rebuild, Dad. Carl's offering you $16 an hour. Labor work, you'll earn your way up. I'll take it. December, tentative reunion. Nicole asked for more time with Sophia. I agreed 3 visits weekly, 4 hours each. Still at my house, still supervised. But I watched her sing to Sophia. Read books, build towers. Sophia knocked down with delighted shrieks. In December, Nicole became a paralegal coordinator. $32,000 a year. She bought a used 2008 Honda Civic paid cash. She was proud of it. Nathan showed up at Ironwood every morning at 6:30 working alongside Carl. Pouring concrete, framing walls, learning blueprints. Building something slowly, one day at a time. Robert Mitchell's new chapter. In October, Robert Mitchell sent me a letter. His pension restored, he'd found a room in a senior housing complex. Better still, he was volunteering at a Charlotte homeless shelter, tutoring kids in history and reading. Mr. Brennan, you reminded me I still have something to teach. Thank you for not driving past that day. I kept the letter in my desk. Some days when things felt heavy, I'd read it again. December 2025, New Beginnings. I sat in my Ironwood office on a December afternoon, Sophia on my lap. 15 months old now, babbling in her own language, clutching a toy truck she'd stolen from Carl's toolbox. Through the window, Nathan hauled lumber across the yard with Carl. His movements were careful, deliberate. A man learning to rebuild from the ground up. Nicole would arrive in an hour for her Wednesday visit, bringing dinner she'd cooked. We'd eat together, and she'd give Sophia a bath before leaving. It wasn't perfect, not full forgiveness, but it was something. Sophia squeezed the toy truck and looked up at me. Papa! I kissed her head. That's right, sweetheart. Papa's here. Outside, winter sun slanted across Charlotte. A new chapter had begun. December in Charlotte brought cold winds and clear skies. We held Sophia's birthday party at the Ironwood Builders' Yard on a Saturday afternoon, 2 o'clock, surrounded by trucks and equipment that had built half the city. 35 people showed up, Carl Martinez and 12 of my crew, Lawrence Donovan, Linda Morris, Detective Karen Hughes, Robert Mitchell carrying a children's history book, Nicole's co-workers from the paralegal firm, and Nicole standing at the edge watching. Sophia wore a pink dress running between concrete mixers like she owned the place. 15 months old and fearless. Carl had hung streamers from the crane. The 2-tier cake read, Sophia, our little builder. I found Nicole watching Sophia, her face tight with longing and regret. I walked over. She needs her mother, I said. Nicole's eyes filled. I don't know if I deserve... Come here. Sophia saw her and squealed, running into Nicole's arms. Nicole picked her up, buried her face in Sophia's hair, and sobbed. I'm so sorry for everything, Nicole whispered. Sophia patted her mother's face, instinctively gentle. Nicole held her like she'd never let go. At 3 o'clock, the gate bell rang. Nathan stood outside, hands in his pockets. Old white shirt, jeans, work boots. Not like someone invited. Like someone asking permission. I opened the gate. You came. I won't stay long. I just wanted to give her something. He pulled a small box wrapped in newspaper from his pocket. Sophia toddled over, curious. Nathan knelt to her level. Hey, Sophia. Papa told me you like picking up rocks. I found this one on my first day back at work. He opened the box. Inside was a smooth river stone no bigger than a quarter, glinting faintly in the light. Sophia reached for it with both hands, turning it over, fascinated. She looked up at Nathan and smiled. Nathan's face crumpled. He covered his mouth, shoulders shaking. I put my hand on his shoulder. Stay. She needs her father, too. He looked up, eyes red. Are you sure? Stay. Carl brought him cake. Nathan sat on an overturned crate, and Sophia climbed into his lap, clutching the stone. Nicole stood a few feet away, watching. Their eyes met. She nodded slightly. Not forgiveness yet, but acknowledgement. I looked around the yard, Carl laughing with the crew, Robert telling Lawrence a story, Linda taking photos, Detective Hughes holding Sophia's hand. I thought of Elizabeth, not the way she looked at the end, but on Sunday mornings, coffee in hand, sunlight through the kitchen window. She'd told me once, years before she passed, family isn't perfect, Richard, but it's ours, and that's enough. I'd spent 9 months trying to punish my son, then another 9 watching him rebuild. Nicole, too, both clawing their way back from the wreckage they'd created. Were they fixed? No. Would they stumble? Probably. But they were trying. Sophia waddled over the stone, clutched in her fist. She held it up proud. Papa. I took the stone, held it to the light. It wasn't perfect. Small cracks ran through it, imperfections visible up close. But it was smooth, solid, beautiful, like this family. I picked up Sophia, held her close. Around us, the party continued, laughter, conversation, forks on paper plates. The winter sky above Charlotte began to darken orange and purple, spreading across the horizon. But inside me, something else was happening. A light, small but growing, not the blinding brightness of certainty, just the steady glow of hope. We weren't whole yet. Maybe we'd never be. But we were here, together, trying, and that I thought was enough. Looking back, I realized this isn't just another grandpa revenge stories you hear online. This is about choosing love over bitterness, even when everything in you wants to strike back. My biggest mistake, waiting until crisis, forced my hand. I spent years enabling Nathan's poor choices, thinking that's what fathers do. Elizabeth tried to tell me, sometimes love means saying no. I should have listened sooner. Unlike most grandpa revenge stories that end with total victory or destruction, mine ends somewhere between. I didn't crush my son. I held him accountable while leaving the door open for redemption. That's the hardest path in all grandpa stories. I know not revenge, not blind forgiveness, but measured grace with real consequences. Many grandpa revenge stories celebrate crushing your enemies. I chose differently because Sophia deserved better than a shattered family. Because God doesn't call us to be judges. He calls us to be shepherds, even when the sheep go astray. My advice: set boundaries before you're forced to build walls. Love fiercely, but don't let love become permission for destruction. These grandpa stories teach us that forgiveness isn't weakness. It's the hardest work you'll do. Thanks for walking this journey with me. Drop a comment. What would you have done in my position, caught between protecting yourself and saving your family? If this story resonated, consider subscribing for more grandpa stories from this channel. Quick note: while inspired by real elder abuse challenges, certain elements have been dramatized for storytelling. If this isn't your preference, feel free to explore other content.